Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome back to the session. We have completed 11 days of our training. Yesterday, due to some reasons, I could not conduct the training. So apologies for that first. We will start with day 12 program now. Okay. We'll do a recap of whatever we had discussed in day 11 first. On the 11th day of the training. We looked at bar graphs. Also, when you change the orientation to vertical, they are column charts. We talked about pie charts. We talked about line charts and how to interpret them. And we spoke about the concept of frequency distribution. And thereby we looked at a frequency distribution plot called as a histogram. Okay, this is what you will find in the 10th day's recording, or if you have not attended the session, even when you go through the recording in the 11th days. Okay, not 10th, sorry, 11th day. Now, today what we will do is, we will look at a few more graphs. Tree map, Pareto chart, how to create it, waterfall chart and how to create it, funnel chart. And using these charts, we will see how to build one basic dashboard. Okay, so this is the agenda for today. Now, I will connect to the data source. Okay, here is some data that we have. Generally, if you are working on Tableau or if you're familiar with that tool, if you have attended Tableau training with us, then you would be familiar with this data source, which is called as Superstore. Okay, the name of this data source is Sample Superstore. Okay, we have some data related to certain products which are being sold, and the products are categorized into different categories and subcategories. So we know what is the discount offered, what is the profit from each transaction, number of products sold, okay, and the sales amount for different members. Now, I'm going to first of all convert this into a table because I don't need the entire data. We saw, right? If we directly take the entire data and create a chart, it might not be a readable chart that we get. Too much data gets squeezed up and all. So first, it would always be good that we go ahead, take the data that is necessary for the analysis. For doing so, we can create the pivot chart, isn't it? So I'm going to first convert this range of values into a table. How? Just Control T. This is the entire range of data. You can see the margin running around the entire data. And I will say, yes, my table has headers and I want a table out of it. Now up here, we get the table design ribbon. We can choose any design for our table. Then here we give a name to the table, right? This is something you're familiar with. I'll call this Superstore Data. This is the name of my table, Superstore Data. Now I want a pivot table. Okay, so I will select this option on the table design ribbon, summarize with pivot table. Once we click on this, what will happen? Tableau will open a new sheet. Ideally, on a new worksheet, it will give us a pivot table. So it is going to use the data present in this table, which is named Superstore Data, and it is going to create a pivot table on a new worksheet. It will place it in a new worksheet by default, and that is what we want. If we put it in the same worksheet, it might look cluttered. Already we have a lot of data here. Okay, so I'm going with the new worksheet and I'll click on OK. You can notice how it opened sheet 1. Okay, I will just move this sheet 1 after the orders data. So this is my pivot table. Okay. All right. Now, what I'll do is, let's design the table. I don't need all the fields. I need only certain fields. I need, let's say, for example, I need to work with the subcategory field, which is down here. I will drag it into the rows box over here. So we can see the list of subcategories in here. And I would like to check their sales. Okay, I would like to check the sales from these subcategories. So I'm going to go down there and choose the sales field and drop it here under values. Okay, sales, I'll drop it under values. So this is my data showing me the sales across different subcategories. Okay. Here on the pivot data analyze ribbon, we have something called as pivot chart over here itself. So by clicking on this pivot chart, we can actually, Excel will automatically take this data and represent it in a pivot chart format. Before that, I think we will do a little bit of formatting on these numbers. So I'm going to right click on the number, go to value field settings, and then the number format. Okay. The number format here down here is what I will click on and change the format. This is currency and it is US dollar currency. Okay. Without any decimals, I will show it because this is sales data. There'll definitely not be any negative values. So we don't have to tell or change anything here. Let it be. And I'll click on OK and OK. So you can see that the sales is now formatted. Using this data, if I have to create a chart, using the data in the pivot table, if I would want to create a chart, we don't have to go to insert and then do it from the list of charts over here. Of course, we have pivot chart under insert. From there, we say we want to insert a pivot chart. Okay. And the chart will come. So there are a variety of charts that we can choose from. This is one place. Okay. Going to the insert ribbon. When you are in a pivot table, while we are in a pivot table, when we go to the insert button. So over here, this is my pivot table. When I go to the insert button, there is an option to insert a pivot chart. Okay. Now I don't want to insert it from here. So from where else can we insert the same thing? It is available on pivot table, analyze contextual ribbon that comes up. Here is pivot chart. So when I click on this, it will not, it is again, like in the previous case, it is again giving us this window. So these are different types of charts that we can choose from. Column chart is there, as you can see. Line chart is there. Pie chart is there. So if it is possible to create that type of a chart, you can see that it is coming out. Okay, it is coming here. We can get a preview over here. Bar chart is there, which we can create. Area chart can be created. Then what else? XY scatter. Now look at this. For given the data in the table, if it is not possible to create a certain chart, it is giving us this message. You can't create this chart type with the data inside the pivot table. Select the different chart type or copy the data outside the pivot table. Okay, fine. The first chart that we said we will discuss about is a tree map. It is used to represent data in the form of a series of boxes. Okay, each box will indicate a member that is present here. And depending on the value associated with each member, the size of the box will be fixed. So I need that kind of a chart over here, which is basically called a tree map. But you can notice that given this data in the pivot table, somehow the capability is not there. It's telling I can't create this chart type for the data that is in the pivot table. What else? What are the possible suggestions? How do we overcome this? One thing is you choose a different chart type altogether, or you could copy this data outside the pivot table. So that is what I will do now. I will copy this data outside of pivot table. Okay, so let me cancel this. And along with the column headers, this data I'm going to simply do a Control-C. And I will take it into a new sheet. This is my sales data. Okay, this is my sales data. So I'm just going to paste it up here. Control-V. Data from the pivot table is now available in a separate sheet for me to work with. Quickly, I'm going to rename the columns. These are the items being sold. And this is the sales information. So I'll just remove this sum off before it. Okay, just keep it as sales. This is my data. Now using this data, can we create a tree map? With the other data I didn't allow, right? So let's go here, insert. Now you can notice this is the icon for tree map. Whether it is a tree map or something called as a sunburst chart, we can go here. So now I can go ahead and create a tree map. You see, the moment I hover the mouse pointer on the chart has come. I'll click on it and you can see the chart is ready. But it's not looking so nice with all these labels on the top. legend on the top. Okay, the legend on the top. So we'll go to the chart element or just quick layout. That would be much easier. From quick layout, you can decide how to structure it. Or you could go up to the styles ribbon and decide how you might want to present the data in that format. Okay. This is fine. Here's the chart title. I will say this is a tree map. And we have the legend, let it be there. This whole thing is the chart area. And the title is coming above on the top and legend is coming to the left, right side of the map. How do we read or interpret it? So you can notice how it is giving a lot of boxes or squares, right? Squares or rectangles. So you can notice that each member here, there are 17 subcategories, 17 items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that we have 17 items in total. Okay. So you will have 17 boxes in here. Each item is represented with a box. And why are some of them big and some of them small? It is because of the sales value associated with them. Okay, you can notice chairs with a really big block because chairs has the highest sales. Then we have phones with the second highest sale. So you see phones with the next biggest block or space given to it. Then we have storage, tables, binders, so on and so forth. Okay. Further, what can we do? Like we discussed in the previous session, you can go up to format or chart design, okay, and you can add additional elements. You can add data labels over here. And if I say show data labels, it's already showing the names of the items. So it's saying what else? It's not doing anything else. None means it removed the labels. Show means it's showing the labels. But I'll go to show more data label options. That will open a new pane onto the right side. As of now, the label is having only the name of that member, okay, category name. Now I'm going to insert value also. And what should be the separator between these two labels? We are going to move each item into a new line. So after accessories, sales goes to the new line. You see, it is nicely formatted also. Because it is already formatted in here, same formatting is getting applied inside also. Okay. Series name, if I select, it will tell that we are looking at. Okay, here it's not identifying. Generally, it shows sales. Okay, fine, no problem. So I hope you all understood this. There are many other options here. Text options are there, label options, fill, and a lot of options are there which you can explore. I'm going to close this here. So this is a tree map. When would you create a tree map? When you have to show data as a series of rectangles where the size of that rectangle is indicating the value. Okay, so that's a tree map. Now, next we will talk about a Pareto chart. With the same data, I would like to create a Pareto chart. So what I'll do is reduce the size given to this tree map. Make it smaller over here. Let it be in the same screen, but it will become smaller and be there. And I think legends aren't so important because we are labeling the blocks. So I'll go up to chart design and I will choose something without legends. Okay, I'm choosing something without the legends, only the map. Now I will go back and select the entire data. I hope you all understood what is a tree map. Let me just check if there are any questions. Tree map is not there in your. Okay, yeah. Previous all classes are available in 360DigiTMG YouTube channel. Yes, so you can see it there, Sarath. Dataset link will be shared with you all in a while because just before beginning the session, I sent the data. So it was my mistake. Yeah, anybody who's familiar with the Tableau and Superstore, it is the same thing that I'm using. Superstore data you can take from there. But for the rest of you who are not familiar with Tableau, we will share the link in a while. Tree map is not there in your chart list. Okay, so when you just randomly open any new worksheet, any new worksheet, even if there is no data, it's fine. Can you go to insert and check what are the list of charts? Just a random blank sheet, and under insert you check. So these are all the complete list of charts available. If it is not here, maybe the version is not supporting. That could be the reason, Satish. So the first icon here is basically column and bar charts. The next one is different types of line charts to be created. Next is pie charts and donut charts that we can create. Then we have the hierarchy data kind of thing. Okay. Then we have statistical charts, under which we have histogram, we have Pareto, and we have box plot. Okay. So Pareto is what we will see now. And then we have something for scatter plots, different variety of scatter plots that we can create. Then we have waterfall, funnel, and some charts which are used in the stock, surface charts and radar charts. The next series is basically combination charts, where you combine a bar with a line, different combinations of presenting the data. If we have geographical data, we can go create maps. Okay. So these are the charts that are available in Office 365. So on various versions, maybe the list might not be as extensive as you are seeing here. Okay, so you can cross-check from there. Whatever is available in that list are going to be there. Okay. So duration of this course is 15 days in total, Mohan, of which 11 days is done, completed. Today we are doing the 12th day. Today is the 12th day of this program. So we have 3 more classes left out. Tree chart is used for hierarchical data's representation. You can see this, right? How like it's called a tree map because it shows you like branching out kind of a thing. Okay, like branching out kind of thing. Like we have chairs, who is the highest contributor towards sales, and which one is the least contributor down here, furnishings. Okay, so by the relative size of these boxes, we can understand which one is a high contributor and which one is a low contributor. Okay, Naresh. Generally, when we do it on other tools like Tableau or Power BI, the branching out of the data can be shown clearly. Here, it's not showing branching out of the data. It's just showing each member with a block. All right. So now let me just keep it to a side. Even the chart title may not be required over here. Just go to chart design. I'm going to make it now. This is quite self-explanatory. It is a tree map. Now, using this data, I would like to create a Pareto chart. What is a Pareto chart and what is its purpose? Very important chart under statistical analysis on the data. So Pareto chart is based on the Pareto Principle, which is famously known as the 80-20 rule. It says that by doing only 20% of the work, we can generate 80% of the benefit of doing the entire job. That is the rule. Okay. Now, all of us will do 20% work then and expect 80% in return, isn't it? So it's not randomly any 20% activities that we will choose and do. We have to choose the most significant ones. Okay. So Pareto chart helps us in understanding who are the significant contributors. What are the significant members in a data? For example, suppose we take this here. Here I have different items and their sales. So what are those significant few items which should always be kept in the warehouse, kept readily available for sales? Isn't it? Means what are those? If I don't provide them, I might lose a large share of my customers to my competitors. So I need to know what are those significant few members which are selling the most. Okay, then what do? We can create a Pareto chart. So how to create a Pareto chart and interpret it, we will see. Again, as usual, I'm going to select the data. I will go to the insert button and under the statistical charts group, insert statistic chart. Under this group, I will go and click on this one. Yes, in the previous session, we discussed about histogram, right? Now we are discussing the next chart, which is called Pareto. immediately Tableau will give you the chart. Okay, you can see the Pareto chart over here. Now, how do we read or interpret it? Okay, let us try to understand that. So, this here is the sales axis. These are the items being sold. And if you notice, they are arranged in descending order. They are arranged in descending order. Why? This is a chart where the data should always be sorted in descending order. Why so? Because we are focusing on the high contributors, those significant few members which make a huge difference. Okay. So we can see that phones and chairs, these two members are the sales is pretty high. The sales is pretty high. Individual bars are indicating the individual sales value of that product. Okay, tables, sales, so much. Okay, if you look at fasteners, the sales is very little. Individual bars are talking about the individual contribution. And this line here is talking about the cumulative contribution. It is talking about the cumulative contribution. Okay, so I'll do one thing. Look at the line. Okay, now you just focus on the line and focus on these percentages over here, on the line and on the percentages over here. It's going away anyway. So what do we understand? Chairs alone single-handedly is contributing to almost 14-15% of the entire sales. Chairs and phones collectively, here is the mark, are contributing to slightly over here, okay? Maybe 32-33% of the entire sales is coming from just these two members. This is the sales, cumulative sales. This is the cumulative. Remember, we discussed the concept of running total. Okay, this is the cumulative sales. Means both collectively how much. Now, these three members collectively how much. These four members collectively how much. 5 members collectively how much together. So as we keep accumulating the sales from each of those members, as we keep adding the sales to the existing sales, you can see how it is growing, isn't it? Now, we can notice 80. If I drop a line at 80% and it's intersecting somewhere over here, we can notice that just these members, okay, up to copiers, to be specific, up to copiers are contributing to almost 80% of the entire sales of this particular business. The remaining half of them, their contribution to the sales is pretty meager. It's only about 20%. All right. In fact, if you notice this part, it's almost flat, like 99, then 99.5, 99.8, 100, that kind of a thing. So these members' contribution towards sales is less than 1%. Less than 1%. Okay. So if tomorrow, for some reason, if I'm not able to provide chairs and phones, if I'm not able to sell this, I will be losing more than nearly 30%, 33% of the market share I would lose. 33% of my business I will lose. Okay. If I'm not able to sell these 4 items, if I'm not able to stock up the supply, or if for some reason I could not sell it, I wouldn't lose a significant portion of my market, of my customers to my competitors. Maybe about 2% of them I will lose, which is still okay. But if you're not able to provide this or this, then you're losing nearly 33-34% of the entire market. And if you're not able to provide this whole list, you're losing 80% of your business there. 80% of the business is gone. So that is a Pareto chart, and that's how we read it. It talks about those vital few, okay, and the trivial many. Vital few and the trivial many, as Mohan mentioned, right? Okay, so this is also a nice chart which gives a lot of insight into the data, helps us identify the significant contributors. Okay, I hope you all understood Pareto. It's creating it is very easy. You just have to go to the insert button, go under the statistical group, and you can insert the Pareto chart by clicking there. Further, once the chart is ready, what happens? Chart design ribbon will come. You can go ahead and choose a different style, different format. However you might want to present the data, you can go and choose. There's quick layout also, from where you can choose how to represent your data in the chart. Okay, let's just change the chart title over here. Call this Pareto chart. Okay. Now, would it be possible to create it from the pivot table? Let us check that also. Because earlier we took this data out of the pivot table, right? We weren't able to create some charts. Let's go here. Yeah, Pareto also from the data in the pivot table, it is not allowing us to create. For certain charts which are not available with pivot data, you have to simply copy the data out of the pivot table as I did, and then you can design them. Okay. So that is about Pareto chart. Next, we will talk about waterfall chart. This is also a very interesting chart. Helps us present our data in a nice way. For this, I will use, okay, let's use sales data only. There'll be no confusion if we use this. So the same data I will use, and I would like to insert waterfall chart. Now here is the icon for waterfall, this icon here. Okay, this is for inserting whether it is a waterfall chart or a funnel chart, something called as a stock chart, surface chart, or radar chart. These kind of charts can be created when you go to this icon, the very first one being waterfall. Okay, then you can see funnel is there. There are some stock market charts, surface and radar. We'll go with waterfall. Here is my waterfall chart. We can move this to another worksheet. See, right now it is just, I'm just explaining the concept and showing you the creation. So I'm keeping it here, but it is looking cluttered, isn't it? We can definitely go, click in the chart area, then click on this move chart. We can move it to another worksheet. So I just want it in a new worksheet. I will call the worksheet as waterfall chart. Okay. So you can see nicely it went to a completely different worksheet. Okay, so how do we read or interpret and understand this data? Let's add some chart titles over here to understand what it is. So this basically is the sales information. It is basically the running sum of sales. Okay, this axis is not just individual sales. It is the running sum of sales. And this is indicating the names of the items being sold, subcategories or items we can say. Chart title here, it is indicating waterfall chart. Now, what is the purpose of this chart and how do we read or interpret it? I'll do one thing. I will just move the legend to the bottom. Actually, legend is not required in this case. I'm just making one. So how do we read this? How do we interpret this? Let's see. This also talks about the cumulative total. Okay, it also talks about cumulative total. So here, you can see the sequence in which the members are arranged. They're going in alphabetical order. Accessories, then appliances, art, binders, bookcases. These are different items being sold in this business. Okay. Now, this is the sales from accessories. 167K, 167,000 is the sales of accessories. Okay. Then this becomes the baseline. All right. And the sales of appliances is coming from there. If accessories has given a sales of 167K, When appliances comes with its contribution, how does it further increase the sales? So it is increasing the sales further by another 108K. That is the contribution from appliances. Both of them collectively have pushed up the sales till here. Maybe the grid lines, we will try to add more grid lines to understand these better. Okay. Let's go with one moment. I would like to put to grid lines. Okay, it's just okay. I'll do one thing. I will add even the minor grid lines. So you can see those grid lines prominently now, right? Let's go to chart design and add minor grid lines also. So what are grid lines? These horizontal lines are grid lines. Okay, we have it 500K, then 10,000K, 15,000K, 20,000K, 25,000K. These minor lines, so 0 to 5, right? In between 1, 2, 3, 4. So what do we understand? Accessories made a sales of 167K. And then appliances individual contribution is 108, but both of them collectively have pushed up the sales to almost 300,000, slightly less than. Then art comes with a very small contribution. Look at the size of the bar given to art. It's just 27,000. So that further pushes up the sales. Then binders comes. Sales of binders is this much. So these four collectively have pushed up the sales to this mark, 500K. Okay, that is the total cumulative. So if these four have given up to 500K, then another member bookcases is coming with its contribution, further pushing the sales up. Okay, then chairs, significantly it's contributing to the sales, pushing the sales here. Then copiers with its own sales. So step by step, we can see the contribution of different members towards the sales. How all of them together are contributing towards the final value. Okay, are you all able to understand what is a waterfall chart and what is it trying to indicate? It is indicating the cumulative contribution at the same time, even the individual contribution. That is the beauty of this graph. It's indicating two things. Individual contribution of each member is coming as the bar. The blue colored bar is the individual contribution. What is the sales from each member? That is the individual. Okay. Then collectively, one after the other, as we bring them together, how are they improving the value? How are they contributing? So very little contribution from these two members. Okay. So collectively, how are they step by step increasing the sales? And what is the final value by the time we reach here? This is the final value. Okay, so sales is hitting almost 25,000K. It's hitting almost 25,000K, a little short of it, maybe 24,000K. So this is a waterfall chart, how to read and interpret it and how to create it and design it. Individual bars, again, I repeat, individual bars is the individual contribution, but their position, this, when you mark them against the axis, they are telling you what is the collective contribution. So we can tell about individual as well as collective. Now looking at this chart, which member's contribution towards sales is significantly high? How can we understand? By the size of the bar. So chair's contribution is high, phone's contribution is high. Whose contribution is very, very little? These two here, this one here, very little contribution, this one over here. Rest of them medium contribution towards the sales. Okay. So that's how we create a waterfall chart. And then again, for every chart that you design, you can go ahead and choose a different style. You can choose a different color. All such options are available. So let me go back to the pivot table. with pivot data, let me quickly check whether we can insert waterfall. No, waterfall also, it's not allowing with pivot data. So that's fine because we just have to take the data outside and then do it. Funnel also, it's not allowing with pivot data, but we are going to create a funnel chart now. For this, there is a separate data given that I'm going to show you, funnel chart data. The link for the data sources has been shared here. You can take it from there. So you just click on that link and you can download the data sources. Okay, please check the chat. It is there in the chat. The last message in the chat is the link to the data sources. All right. So what is a funnel chart? Because that is what we will create now. We're going to talk about what is a funnel chart. Funnel chart is, let me show you. It will be easier to understand when you see this kind of a chart. Okay. This kind of a chart is a funnel chart. Now, it is used when you have data going through different stages in a process. And when it passes from one stage to another, if it is going through progressive reduction to show progressively decreasing proportions, okay, or if it's going through a process of elimination, that is when funnel charts will come in handy. So how do we create a funnel chart? When should we create it? When you have progressively decreasing data going through different stages in a process. And while passing from one stage to another, it experiences a progressive reduction, or it is going through a process of elimination. Like over here, if you take, this is interview data. Let's say some company conducted an interview drive, and these are the different rounds they conducted, and these are the number of candidates. So what happened? They took the written test first. 3,250 candidates appeared for the written test. But it is a process of elimination, isn't it? Not everybody who takes the written test will clear it and move on to the next round. So some of them were eliminated, removed, filtered out. Rest of them attended the technical interview. 1680 people managed to reach the technical round. Out of which only 1120 people reached the HR interview round. They faced the HR interview. Out of 1120 customers, 350 people were given offer letters. Offer letters were released. They were selected. Now, just because they are selected, it need not mean that they will join, right? Out of the 350, only 180 people ended up joining the organization. So when you have such data, it is a process, isn't it? Interview is a process. It has multiple rounds. And from one round and from one stage to another, a progressive reduction in the data happens because it is a process of elimination. Now, how do we present this data in a graphical format in the most appealing way? Such data can be represented by creating a funnel chart. You will find it under this icon. So when I click there, it created the funnel, but it's not looking good, isn't it? People are not going to join the organization even before taking the written test. They are not going to attend the technical interview before attending the written test. So the sequence in which these members are arranged are not proper. That process is not proper. So the stages in the process are not organized properly. So I just have to sort this data. Okay, so I will just go here, select the column containing the number of candidates, go to the home ribbon. Okay, in the home ribbon, on the right side, extreme right side, editing option. In the editing group, we have sort and filter. I want to sort it from largest to smallest. Okay, largest to smallest. When I do that, I would like to expand the selection, because if this is getting sorted, even the member corresponding to it has to sort. So I'll just say, yeah, sort, expand and sort. You see now, written test with the highest number of candidates is at the top of the list. Then we have number of people who managed to come to the technical interview round, so on and so forth. And you can see how nicely, beautifully the funnel has taken a shape. So this here is called a funnel chart. Okay, this here is called as a funnel chart. And of course, again, whenever we design a chart, contextual ribbon for chart design will appear. You can go and choose a different style for that. You can add other elements if you want, if you feel it will make more, if it'll add more value by bringing in something else, you can go ahead and add it. So maybe the axis title, right, where we can say that these are the interview stages. Okay, interview stages. And then, of course, you can go here and adjust a few things. Okay, this you can adjust, like what color to be given, transparency, with all such things, you can go and adjust. So the border is orange in color now. If we go to text options, also there are some options. You can make it slightly bigger. You can choose how you might want to present it. This will change accordingly. Okay. So that is about a funnel chart. When should it be created and how should it be created? So tree map is when you have hierarchical data, when you have to show the data as blocks. Okay, each block representing a member and the size of the block indicating the value. Pareto, when you have to identify those significant few members whose contribution towards the numerical value, towards the sales or profit, etc., is significantly high. So once we know who are those significant members, important members, who are those high contributors, we can focus on them and make sure that we retain them. Those members whose contribution is not so significant, even if we lose them or we stop selling those products, it would not impact our business in a significant manner. It will not have a major impact. Waterfall chart, how each member is contributing towards the measured value, towards sales in this case, and how with each member's contribution, the overall sales is getting pushed up. So individual contribution and also the cumulative contribution, both coming out beautifully in one single chart, is a waterfall chart. Funnel chart is when you have data going through different stages and you have to show a process of elimination happening when it is passing from one stage to another. Now we will see how to create a basic dashboard, which is a report with all these graphs put together in Excel. So here I have different charts that I created. I have a waterfall chart. I have certain charts on my sales sheet, like the tree map, and I have the Pareto. So let's say I want all of these together and I want to present them more like a report rather than individual random graphs split across multiple sheets. I would like to bring all these charts together into one sheet. So I'm going to add a new sheet, which I will say is the dashboard. Okay, this is my dashboard. So I'll select everything, Control A. I don't need any borders, and I'm going to just fill it with some color like that. Okay, let's say this is the background color that I want for my dashboard. Up here, I will give the title. Let's say my first dashboard. And then, of course, formatting wise, the sky is the limit with Excel. You can go and format it the way you want. Okay, I am just going to give it a darker shade. And text color, I'll make it white, make it bold. Okay, and increase the font size. So this here I have the title. So let's say I want the title in the middle of my screen. So I'm just going to select a few blocks, maybe till here, and I'll click on this. Okay, merge and center. So all those cells that I selected along, okay, they are merged into one cell. And you see, by clicking on this merge in center, I've merged them into one cell. These are not individual cells anymore. Here I have individual cells. Okay. Up here, it is one cell, and my first dashboard is the name of that cell. I'm going to give it a nice thick border. And use white color for the line. Okay. 1 second. Okay, fine. Let it be. So this, you can see the line, right? You can see the white colored line below it. This line is white in color. It's not very prominent, but I hope you're getting the point. Now I have to put my graphs in here. So the first graph I will bring in is from the sales data. Let's say I want my tree map. Okay. How do we bring it there? Just copy, Control C. I clicked here and I've selected. Let's turn on the chart title. Rest of them have no. If this alone doesn't have, it will not look consistent. Okay. So I'm doing a Control C. Copied it. I'll go to dashboard and Control V. Basically, I'm pasting it over here, and you can adjust its position. You can make it slightly bigger if you want to. Okay, so here is my tree map. Then I'll go back. This time I want the Pareto. So I'll just select the Pareto chart. This whole chart area is selected. How do you confirm that the entire chart is selected? When you go to chart design, chart, when you go to format, look at this. This is what I selected. And the top left corner of the format ribbon, you can see various sections on the chart. This is chart area. This is chart title. Okay, horizontal axis, Pareto line, plot area, sales, vertical axis, etc. I want the entire chart area to be selected. I'm doing a Control C to copy it. I'll go to my dashboard and paste it over here. Make it slightly smaller so that it looks compatible with the one that is next to it, the tree map. Okay. Chart design, maybe we will use similar kind of background for it. Okay. And data labels, I'll keep it as outside end. Let's just remove them. Okay, this is my graph. Next chart. We had another chart, waterfall chart over here, right? So I'll just select the chart, Control C. I don't know whether it got copied or not. Let me try to paste it here. Yeah. So let's go back here. Okay, I'm going to move this chart to my dashboard. Okay, I'm going to move this to dashboard. Okay. So it has come into the dashboard. Direct copy paste was not working, maybe because the separate chart. So I selected the option to move it into the dashboard. Chart design. So also we will use that kind of a thing, but without labels. Okay, so here is the next graph. I'll just adjust it a little bit. 4 graphs have come. Now finally I'll bring in the funnel chart. Of course, this is a completely different chart, but I'm just taking it just to show you the design. Okay, so I copied it with the Control C, and I'm going to paste it here with the Control V. Adjust the size. So you can see that simply after creating all the graphs necessary for your analysis, you can copy them and paste them in one sheet, which you can further call as the dashboard or a final report. Dashboard or the final report. Okay. And this dashboard can be delivered to the client with all the charts together. So if you have many more charts, let's say I have another pie chart, another column chart. So whatever charts we might have, we can bring them into the dashboard and arrange them on this dashboard in a nice manner. So that, start with the most significant chart, something that has all the master information kind of a thing. You can start with that. Then you can proceed to the supporting charts, which will help you convey your point well to your end user. So dashboard in Excel is very simple. It's not as, we have a lot of features with respect to dashboards in other tools. Okay, other data visualization tools. In Excel, I personally feel that the capabilities and the options are pretty limited. They're just bringing everything together into one place. Okay, it is something through which we are bringing everything together into one place. Dashboard is basically a report where all the graphs come together and people can look at your entire work in one go rather than going through individual sheets. Okay, so that is a dashboard. It is basically a report which encompasses all the charts that you have created. Okay, now what we will do is, okay, Pareto chart, I will repeat the concept. What we'll do is, topics we are going to stop here. Tomorrow when we meet, we will look at a basic interactive dashboard. We will look at a dashboard that is more interactive, that will have slicers, and using the slicers, we are going to modify the charts. Post which we will move to the statistical concepts like forecasting. Okay, so we will redo the dashboard tomorrow and then we will proceed to forecasting. Here, these are all created with normal data, not with pivot data. We didn't use data in a pivot table to create these charts because it was not allowing. Directly we went to insert and we inserted the charts, right? So even though we put a slicer, it does not really work here in this case. But the same thing, if you do it with pivot charts, then you will be able to insert slicers, you will be able to insert timelines, and you will be able to make them interactive. Okay, that interactive aspect we will be seeing in tomorrow's class. So the same data we will use tomorrow. We will discuss about forecasting also. All right. No, just like you save any other workbook. You just go to the file option on the menu, choose the option to save as, and you save everything. The entire workbook has to be saved wherever you might want to save it. Okay. Here, actually, to explain this concept, the options that we have are pretty less. Let me explain it on Tableau. Okay, just the purpose of Pareto chart. Okay, so Pareto principle, what did I say? It is the 80-20 rule. Okay, so we have to find out those significant members who are contributing significantly towards the value, towards the measure value. Let's say I have to identify how many customers are contributing, or what percentage of customers are contributing towards 80% of the profit. Okay, I need to check what percentage of my customers are contributing towards 80% of my profit. So how do I get that information is, first of all, you need to remember that Pareto chart is built on the running total. Okay, it is built on the running total. So now you can see how very few people, this is all the complete list of customers we have, of which very few people are giving it 80% of its profit. Remember the curve, the line in the Pareto chart that you saw, it is this line, the line in the Pareto chart. So what is it telling me? that just a handful of customers are giving me 80% of my profit. So these people become very, very valuable customers. Because of them, the business is surviving. 80% of the profit is coming from just these people. Okay, so if I lose any of these people to my competitors, then I am losing a significant portion of my profit. Is it clear? Pareto Chart, Srikanth. So we are identifying those people whose contribution towards the profit is significantly high. And now once you give their names to the management, they will ensure that they don't lose these people to the competitors. Yes, Mohan, it is possible to create bivariate, multivariate charts in Excel. So when we do scatter plots, hopefully tomorrow we will do scatter plots. That time I will show you. Because for scatter plots, we need multiple measures, isn't it? Multiple metrics. So we will do that. All right, that's it from my side. I'm there, but to take up any questions that you might have. Tomorrow we will proceed with creating an interactive dashboard using pivot charts. And then we will talk about forecasting and we will see how to create scatter plots. Okay, anybody who has not yet subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. And before you leave, please do hit the like button if you found any value from this particular training. Okay, thank you all so much. If you have any questions, I'll take up. Thank you. All right, I think we can end the meeting here. Thank you.